Welcome back to Realize Your Potential with Mike and Travis. Thank you so much for all the support. We have had, this has been one of the best experiences of our lives, being able to bring this content to you. So thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And please continue to do that across all of our social media platforms. But thank you for doing that with the show. It's been amazing. It's been really, really awesome. You know,
pretty cool.
Really, yeah. And so as we're kind of thinking about how to evolve the show, really looking for you guys to continue to engage with us, not just through text and email, but also through comments in the threads, whether that be on our social media, whether that be on or on the YouTube itself. But we'd love to engage with you. So please don't be afraid to leave a comment instead of just texting us or emailing us, which is cool, is great. But we'd love to see those comments and help those be shared across our whole community. That's really exciting for us.
Yeah, we're hoping that it'll spark conversation on any of the threads or our socials that we have to maybe start a further discussion that maybe we need to have on this platform. So great call out, Mike. And so we're just concluding a series on passion, and it's really started with the pandemic and prospering through that and really finding your passion, really and focusing on that there. Then from that, it led to a sub-series on PPA, passion, prepare, and action, how to identify your passion, how to prepare to take action, and then actually taking action on that. And then we had a case study of Hal Lublin coming in and talking to us about him really focusing on his passion when it comes to acting in the theater world and how to navigate it, some of the challenges that come up. But it was a real application of him identifying his passion and then working towards it and not letting fear get in the way of stopping him from progressing towards that. And so now we're going to begin a new series on managing your mindset. It's really going to be focused around driving the right mindset. And so this is going to be big for athletes, CEOs, small business owners, but anyone who's actually just looking to further their passion, right? If you're working in a field that you really enjoy, but you're a little stagnant, we're going to be able to show that maybe you need to take a look at some of the things around mindset and how you can fix those to continue your growth. And so this series is we're going to start with our same formula, really outlining some of the things that are really important that we've seen throughout our careers that have led to success through having the right mindset and understanding the challenges around that. And then we're going to bring in really a great roster of guests. And we've got an amazing roster of guests for this, from athletes, world-class athletes, right, Mike? I mean, people that like have been at the highest level of athletics, and then people who have been some of the top business people in the world, right? People who own their own businesses. So we're going to bring in just kind of a stampede of guests around mindset, because frankly, it's really important if you're going to realize your potential when it comes to your actions and your passion. So really important there. Just to jump in, not only that, like I think there'll be a lot of sort of synergy in regards to what we were talking about with PPA and sort of tying that together. So
yeah, absolutely. And look out, we're going to have some supplemental documents coming out around some of these videos that can really help you take what you hear here and then apply it to your life. So look out for those to come future on our website, which is www.realizingnow.com, where we can not only help you through some of the challenges that you might be having, but it's got great resources, a lot of articles that we've written, things like that for you to use in your own life. So now that we got the plug out the way, right, Mike? we plugged all our stuff, right? Let's jump into some content. So let's talk a little bit about mindset and what it actually means. So what do you think? What do you think around that?
So I took a look at Realize Nowpedia, and the definition of mindset is a set of attitudes and beliefs, right? Yeah. In terms of how you exist in the different life domains that we all have: family, work,
How you engage with your friends, how do you engage out in the community when you're out and about. So
Yeah,
set of
absolutely.
attitudes.
Yeah, a set of attitudes. I really, I subscribe to that, and because it's so important, the attitude that you have towards your passion or towards any action, your mindset is really the key to success. I mean, you can look at any great performer, and when I say that, whether that be in business, sports, theater, whatever, you'll see that the difference between the absolute best person in terms of talent level and the absolute worst person when it comes to, like, for instance, the NBA or the NFL, the talent gap is very small. But what you see typically is their mindset being the biggest difference between being a bench player and being one of the best players of all time, right? And so this is really the key to you finding your true potential. And I know our whole business is wrapped around realizing your potential, but this is the key. And so if you're a college athlete and you're looking for more playing time, or you're a high school athlete looking for more playing time, or you've got the playing time you want, but you're not maximizing it, or you're just starting off in business, or you're starting a new business, or you've got a big company and a lot of responsibility and people underneath you, but it's not quite moving in the direction that you need it to move, mindset is going to be the place where you're going to want to start. It's going to be the place that you want to start.
And just to talk a little bit further about why that's so important is because with your set of attitudes, like behaviors manifest as a result, right? And actions and intention and, etc. And so as we continue to talk about it, we're going to dive more into the details around, are you rigid with sort of your mindset, or are you open, right? Are you open for the opportunity of growth in that and exploring that?
Now, how can being rigid stop you from realizing your potential when it comes to mindset, Mike? Like, what do you think there?
That's a great question. I'll share a personal example.
Yep.
As I was trying to figure out about my business model, when do I take the leap, when do I not, etc. I noticed that a lot of the stuff that was getting in the way in regards to me being open to taking action was fear. So I had a predictable income. I had, safety, and although, yeah, anyway, so so it was about, how do I change my mindset and be open to sort of explore opportunities and all this sort of different mechanical stuff that one can do to sort of continue to align with having an open mindset to move you along on your journey, and not stay stuck. Not to say I was stuck, but there was a lot of fear in me taking the leap around, depending on myself in regards to creating an income that would then support, life bills people got.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and there's so many aspects of mindset, right? Like, it's such a big topic, and that's why I think we're going to park here for quite a few episodes, because there's what you talked about, right? How does fear play a part in that? There's how does lack of discipline play a part in that? How does boredom or a bunch of different emotions can come in and poison your mindset, right? And so what do you think some of those key things, though, that people should be looking out for that really get in the way of them managing their mindset appropriately?
I think the first thing to do is evaluate and try to explore where your current mindset is. I think that's part of the beginning of it, and I also think being clear on what your values are and how that plays a role, your core beliefs around things, how that's impactful, and also your past experiences play a part. And again, just to share another personal example, part of the fear that was going on for me was as a young person growing up in the hood, I am avoiding that, right? Like,
right.
I'm
Yeah. You want safety.
Yeah. And so for me, it's how do I continue to make decisions, be in a positive mindset to ensure that these fears that I have that are from childhood, don't don't happen, and so.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And I think back, because as you're sharing, I think back to one time mindset really got in the way of my success. And I can think back to my time at Enterprise. And things were going well. I got promoted really fast. I was one of the youngest people to be in the role I was, not only promoted into that role, but then I was in that role for a long time. So, and still the youngest person in that role. So I got promoted really fast. I did a lot of great things. And I had a new manager come in, and he saw the world differently than I did. He saw Enterprise differently than I did. And he saw where we needed to go very differently than I did. And though there are things that I still would not change about who I am if I could go back and redo that, I think my area of opportunity was my mindset was stuck in I know what is successful. I've done it, and that's not successful, and I know it won't be. Instead of figuring out and actually sitting down with my manager and going, okay, we are opposites on some of these major things, but on some of the other things, like we are completely aligned, right? How do we accentuate what we're aligned on and then move closer towards each other and what we are opposites on, right? And how can I do a better job of conveying what was important to me versus being resistant and defiant, and my mindset getting in the way of us really growing that business together and being successful. Right, being rigid, right? And what tends to happen is there were definitely some things about how that whole situation went down that I don't agree with, but it took me a while to really understand my part in that and how important it could have been for me to change my mindset around certain things so that I could have the level of success that I was looking for. And the reality is that business continued on after I left, and they found tons of success, right? So there isn't one way to have success. But then I left that business and found even more success than I had at Enterprise at Solar City and Tesla, right? So there's not one way to be successful. That there isn't. There are multiple paths, right? But if you are open and you have the right mindset around it, you can find yourself using all of the best attributes of everyone to develop this amazing, Apple and Microsoft and, Amazon, and you can develop something that is truly world changing,
Yeah, well put, man.
Yeah. So we are at time. Like we said, we wanted to keep, the episodes with Mike and I down to a certain time frame. So we're at time. We're going to jump off. We're going to pick up next episode, kind of finishing this conversation around what can get in the way of your mindset. But then we're also going to talk a little bit about, okay, now I've identified that I have maybe the wrong mindset or I'm not in the place that I should be. What can I do about it? Right. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to conclude this series with, or this section, I should say, not the series, with how do I stop myself from getting into that mindset, right? Like what are some preventative things I can use to stop me from getting there? And I don't think you can completely stop it, but slow it down. Please like, share, and subscribe. And like Mike said, I said, please comment. We want to create a community where people are sharing really great ideas with each other. So thank you guys, and see you next week.